What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to High School Never Ends, a pop punk dad podcast. I'm Wingman Steve.
And I'm Chris Wayne83. And Steve, we are back with our Victorious miniseries. Steve, I'm really excited about this. This is something that I actually been waiting to do for a while. And, we're doing it. We're in, let's say, ankle deep, knee deep into it. This is not our first, correct? We've done ones before this. Sometimes I get the timeline all messed up.
This is the last one. Yes.
Is it the last one? See,
Yep.
it's been that fun that I can
that
continue to
fast.
forget what we've done so far. So yes, we are knee deep. We actually may be waist deep at this point in time. But ladies and gentlemen, we're going to wrap things up today with our Victorious series with an album that actually I've been waiting to do for a while. So I should say not album, but band. So Silverstein is a band that, we have kind of bounced around here on High School Never Ends for probably a couple years. It's been on my to-do list for a long time, maybe mine more than Steve's. But I know that a lot of you guys out there have asked about it in the past in passing via the socials or the Discord. And I've always said, I want to do that. I want to do it. Finally, we get a chance to do it. And this time around, so we're finally going to do Silverstein. I'm super pumped about that. I can't wait to see what Wingman Steve has to say. Because again, this maybe not as much your cup of tea, but we'll see, right? However, before we get into all that, the album that we're going to cover today is Discovering the Waterfront. And even though I think that there might have been several different really good options to go with Silverstein, this one just seemed like it was the right place to start for a lot of different reasons. Number one, it's my favorite. But number two, as you kind of poll different individuals and kind of listen to what's out there, a lot of people will point to this one as their favorite too, or the one to start with. So this is where we started. And with that, Steve, I don't know if you want to kind of go into your initial thoughts or anything else you want to do to intro.
Yeah, I don't know all that much about Silverstein. They've always been one of those bands that, I don't know, I was kind of afraid to get into. I don't know why. I just felt like it wasn't going to be my cup of tea. I do like Shane Told. I listen to his podcast here and there, Lead Singer Syndrome. It's a pretty good listen. But I never, ever, listened to any songs from this band. So I didn't really know what to expect. And, I like some screamy stuff. Obviously, I like pop punk. And this is kind of a mix of those two. And I wasn't sure what I was going to get with this. And I will say that I was pretty pleasantly surprised. I kind of dug this album. And I'm kind of ashamed that I didn't give this a shot back when it came out or any time in the last 20 years. Because this is essentially a 20-year-old album at this point.
Yeah, 2005. I mean, go back and think. And this is one of those albums that give you all the feels. It makes you feel like you're in 2005. It has that nostalgic sound to it. I love that more than anything. And so I'm not surprised by what you said there, Steve. You listen to this album and this band in Discovering the Waterfront, and they did a really, really nice job with combining that, that little bit more of a hardcore sound. At this point in time, I believe this band is going to be considered post-hardcore in the emo scene. So that's what we're going to go with, post-hardcore for this one. And it fits. And if you think about post-hardcore bands, this fits right in there with that. But they definitely do keep that balance between, those aggressive screams and the melodic part of the songwriting. And they do a really good job with it too. You think about the melodies on some of these songs, they're really easy to get into and really fun. And so for, a predominant pop punk fan like yourself and maybe some of you guys out there, this one does not have a high barrier to entry for you. And I think it's easy to kind of, be okay with those screams, the way that they're mixed in and molded into the overall songs, because they flow for the most part. There may be one or two songs that break that mold, but for the most part, they flow well, and they end up being, something that you kind of get into. I know I did.
Yeah. So did you listen to Silverstein like back in the day? Like they came about, they formed in 2000. Their first album came out 2003. This one came out 2005. Did you like buy this CD and have you known these guys for a long time? I know you love Story of the Year. You love Finch, and I
Yep.
would probably put these in the same type of bucket. Were you into them for a long time?
Yeah, so I'll admit this is not one that I bought, but I did burn this particular album. At the time, the funny thing is, so I forget what the situation was, but so my brother was in a band at this point in time, and they played a lot of this type of music, and I got into what they were doing, but I also again really like this type of music anyway. So he would burn me CDs of different bands that he's like, you got to listen to this, you got to listen to that. And this is the one, like I caught a song off this album and I was like, I got to listen to this whole thing. So he burned it for me and I listened to it. I would spend the money today to buy the album. So Silverstein, if you're listening, I did not steal from you because I fully intend, if you can sell me a CD today, I will buy it from you. It's just that in 2005, it was just easier for me to burn the album to listen to it faster.
Sounds like someone in your family purchased it though. So at least there's that.
There you go. Okay, we're going to go with that story. But listen, so I definitely got into it at the time. Now, did I have multiple Silverstein albums after that? Not really. Like this was the one that I had. And I probably could have went forward with it, but it was in a time of my life where I kind of bounced around a lot to different bands. So I didn't stick with all the bands that I listened to, but I'll tell you what, like when this was burned for like the initial, month, 2 months, 3 months of it being new, this was in heavy rotation. And obviously, based on what you said, you probably could understand why.
So they have like 10 or 11 albums, which is pretty crazy. They've been ridiculously consistent over the past 20 years. So how many of those would you say that you tapped into? The most recent one is 2022. So are they a band where you're like, oh, I see they have something new. I got to listen to that.
No. I bounced around too much with them, after probably a couple years. So I caught this one and the one after it, but after that I kind of drifted. I'll be honest.
Got it. And did you ever catch them live? I was looking through my spreadsheet and I'm like, there's no way. I feel like there's almost nobody that I haven't seen live, but either I didn't write it down or they were at a festival and I'm not sure if I've ever seen them.
I mean, I think it's pretty well known on the show that I don't get a chance to see a lot of shows, and so this is not a band that I caught. It definitely is on my list. And when I saw Census Fail, like that was a check mark off of what I wanted to see, and this one still remains. So hopefully I get the opportunity to do that at some point in time. They do. I want to say they've toured through Pittsburgh on several occasions that I've seen, but they've always been maybe at inconvenient times. Steve, you don't know if they made the circuit through the Crowbar at State College?
If they did, I didn't pay attention or like write it down in my little book thing. So I would think that they probably had to have, but maybe they were on. I don't know who these guys like toured with, so maybe they were on more hardcore shows that weren't to my liking, or I wasn't going out of my way to see them.
I was just going to ask that question, so you preempted that. I wonder if I can ask Google, who did Silverstein tour with in 2005?
Oh, Wikipedia has a whole lot of. They list it somewhere. I could pull that up if
I'm cheating. I'm not doing that. I'm not using my Wikipedia. Okay, so according to this, and this is take it for what it's worth. It says that one of the most notable tours for Silverstein in 2005 was the Taste of Chaos tour. It showcased post-hardcore, emo, metalcore. And on this tour was bands like The Used, My Chemical Romance, Killswitch Engage, Census Fail, Under Oath, and A Static Lullaby. These are not all Victory, are they?
Probably not. I don't think so. But they did tour also with like Hawthorne Heights and Bayside in 2005. So that's Victory.
There's another note here. This is interesting. The Taste of Chaos was known as the Winter Warp Tour and was a significant platform for bands in the alternative scene at the time. Did you know that?
No, I never have heard of that festival at all.
Mm-hmm. The Winter Warp Tour.
I mean, that's pretty cool. Did you see they announced, I think, Warp Tour is coming back next year?
No, I did not see that they did.
Yeah, I don't know if it's confirmed, but there's rumors about it.
I wonder if they're going to skip Pittsburgh.
I don't know if it'll be like a full on countrywide tour or just a couple of shows, but I'll keep an eye out. That's for sure.
I hope it's Stage AE. If you guys know Pittsburgh at all, I hope it's Stage AE. I think that would be the perfect venue. I don't want it to be a stadium show.
What, a Warped Tour? I mean, that's
Like
not
a huge stadium.
No, Warped Tour doesn't do that.
Well, they used to do.
That's not what Warped Tour is. A stadium?
Well, it was Star Lake Amphitheater out here, which basically it's not a stadium, but it's an enormous venue.
Yeah, I mean, well, it does have to be somewhere big because there's usually a whole bunch of stages, and there's got to be water trucks and food and merch.
Carry furnace.
All that.
It can be a carry furnace. They had water trucks.
Oh boy, yeah. I don't know if I'd sign up for that one. But I mean, where I used to go in New York was just a dead giant field, so that was pretty much no better. But I was young.
Very good. So you never caught this band, neither did I. So this is on my to-do list. Would you watch this band live if they'd come around with somebody else that potentially you would like? I don't think you would want to see any of the bands minus My Chemical Romance on that list I just said.
I mean, listen, if they were touring with like bands that I like, like Story of the Year or somebody like that, I probably wouldn't go out of my way just to see a Silverstein show, but I would see them as a supporting act.
Now, one of the things that I was wondering too when I first started getting into this band is, why are they named Silverstein? Is it truly because they were big fans of Where the Sidewalk Ends? Do you know that book?
Yeah, I do. The internet says that they named their band after Shel Silverstein.
Shel Silverstein. So when I was little, I read that book, or I got that book at the library, and there was always this picture of Shel Silverstein. And he had this enormous beard, and it always scared me. I don't know why.
I'm sorry that has bad memories for you. Should we just skip this episode?
I liked Where the Sidewalk Ends. I thought that was neat.
And Light in the Attic. That's the other one, right?
That's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I think we have both of those in my daughter's bookshelf that she never reads anymore. And we probably have, I don't know, one from when I was a kid somewhere in my parents' house.
Very cool. So anything else on this band or the album that you'd like to note here, Steve?
To note, let's see. I did just some album stats. Obviously, so these guys are from Canada, Burlington, Ontario, Canada. Obviously, we said that their name is in reference to Shel Silverstein. The album itself came out August 16th, 2005. It was produced by Cameron Webb. It got to number 34 on the Billboard 200 and number 3 on the Independent Albums chart, and sold over 400,000 copies. So I'd say that's pretty damn successful for a post-hardcore, screamo, whatever you want to call them, band back in 2005. I think that's pretty good.
I'm not going to play the Spotify game with you now. For those of you out there that are listening to the show, I am going to play it with you, but I'm only going to give it a couple beats of silence before I tell you what the answer is. So for all of you playing along here at home, via your iPod or whatever it is you listen to this show on, what are the top 2 songs on Spotify in terms of listens? And it's weird because why do they list number 1 with lower streams than number 2?
Sometimes it could be if it's like more popular recently.
Okay, well, just give me the number 1 and number 2 ranked in popularity. Do not look at your Spotify. I know you're trying to do that, but I will give you 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000 to guess. All right, so basically, the funny thing is that both of the top 2 songs in popularity are off of this album, and maybe that's not too funny. We identified that this was probably one of the most popular albums that they had, but number 2 is My Heroine, and I totally get that. And then number 1 is Smile in Your Sleep. I don't know about that.
Actually, My Heroine has more.
My Heroine does, but not by too many. It's 59 million versus 55 million. So,
right. But you try to put them in order, so you got to get it right.
No, because I changed it. I said popularity.
The one with the higher streams is the more popular one.
Potentially. It depends on why it's ranked popular.
It's got the numbers.
Like you said, it could be that Smile in Your Sleep has recently jumped up the charts.
Well, the album's pretty old. Or maybe it gets more playlists. I have no idea. But they both those songs have videos, so those are, I guess, the singles.
I'm really excited about this album, though, and this band. Again, right up my alley. You guys by now know Chris 183. You know what I like. You know what I really get into, and this is really it. So I think it might be time to jump right into it, unless there's something else. You usually have games hidden away, so I don't know if you did that here.
No games, no games. Ready to go.
Wow. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and kick things off. Steve, do you want to kick this off with the first track and talk about your sword versus my dagger?
Yeah, that sounds like a good fight, I guess, like a Ninja Turtle type confrontation. So all I'll say is, again, I was a little nervous about listening to Silverstein because I just didn't think it was going to be something that I liked. But when I listened to it, for few first things that I got, first off, Shane Told's voice is very versatile. He can belt out highs. He can do the soft singing, like sweet lyrics, and then the quote unquote unclean, like the screaming. He does all those things, and it's pretty crazy that the same guy does all three of those. This song, Your Sword versus My Dagger, starts off the album really, really well. There's a cool guitar line, like right off the bat, which it repeats throughout. I really like the pace of the entire song. It really reminds me of Story of the Year, to be honest with you. I've brought up that band a few times just because they mix the singing and the screaming, and they kind of go back and forth. Sometimes in a verse or in a chorus, it'll be both. Sometimes it alternates. The chorus in this song is really, really fun. The bridge has some great background vocals and harmonies. And towards the end, there's overall, I think on the first listen, I was really pleasantly surprised with what I was like, dude, I could get into this. First time I put it on, I was like, all right, I'm down. I like it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think right away what hit me was when the guitar came in on this first track. I could tell, like, hey, this is 2005. Like, it's not necessarily overproduced to any extent. This song anyway. I mean, probably a little bit more production value on some other songs, but that was okay. It made it a little bit more raw and real for me. And, period piece wise, it made sense. It sounded like that time. But you're right, Steve. I mean, all of those things, the clean vocals was the thing that I kind of pulled off of this, is that he does a really good job with that transition and really comes back from the solid screaming into just really, really clean, melodic singing, on key, great stuff, right? I'm really impressed by his vocals and how he does it here. So I think that carries the song, carries a lot of songs, not to basically minimize the rest of the band, the guitar work and the drums, some of the other songs. But for this one, I think that's what caught me the most. And outside of that, I really just got into that breakdown towards the end of the song. It just set the tone for the album, for as far as I'm concerned. And I, even though this song doesn't, I don't think it's as good as maybe some of the other ones I really like. I think it does do a good job. Exactly what I said. It sets the tone for the album. It sets you up for what you're going to get to a lot of extent. And it shows you what the band can do. So big fan of that one.
Awesome. Well, keep it rolling. Smile in your sleep.
It's just an awesome song. I mean, this one gets a star. Hopefully you guys out there, it's funny because we got some feedback one time that if we're both fans of something, that it's people find that, a little bit less interesting than when we have a little bit of conflict on it. So I don't know if that's going to be the case today. We'll see, right? Well, I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, but
are you telling me I should be conflicting?
I don't know. Maybe you should. Maybe you should play the part.
This song sucks.
Yeah. But no. I don't believe you, because I do think you like this one. Smile in Your Sleep. This one, it has an even easier access point to me for someone that really is into bubblegum pop punk. Like, this is just easier to get into. It's a little bit darker, but still very catchy, and an amazing chorus. Once again, the mix that we already talked about to kind of intro this album and this band, it has that nice mix of styles. It mixes it up real well. The screaming of, that part where he says, you lie, that's really cool and well done. And it fits perfectly, and it doesn't overdo it either. So This is definitely my cup of tea, and it does display that this band utilizes that tried and true formula where you have the verse chorus, then you slow down a little bit, then you have the heavy end. I'm okay with that. I'm okay when they do that a lot because I like that. I like that recipe. That's my type of song. So you're never really going to hear me say that that's tired or old on any of these tracks because for some reason it doesn't get old to me. I could hear that. I could hear that recipe over and over again. So really, really well put together track and fun to listen to.
I mean, I agree with the part that it doesn't get old and it's a really good track, but I don't think that it follows that exact mold, right? It does go kind of like verse, chorus. Then there's like a scream section. Then there's this much harder, like metal type section. And then the last minute of the song is this like chill, floaty, like it's this really different kind of thing with the chorus at the end. So I think they did switch it up a little bit here. At the beginning of the song, really cool mix with the guitar riff and the bass. The chorus, as you said, just kind of explodes. There's this the first line is super high. You say you're weak, but then he goes like real like subdued. But you won't let me down, won't let me down. I think that works really, really well. I think one of the things that I like about like a Finch Letters to You type of song is that when the screams are properly placed and the first scream is not till the end of the second verse here that you are quite mistaken. And I think when you wait a little bit on it, it makes it a little more powerful. I think this was a really good choice as a single, and I might be singing it in my sleep.
Yeah, for sure.
It might be.
This is a one that this is definitely a song that gets stuck in your head. So I'm all about it. It'll make you smile.
Well, the next one is called Ides of March, and I'll kick this one off. So right in the beginning, he's got these real soft vocals, and I mentioned his soft vocals just sound really, really smooth. The chorus basically sounds exactly what like 2005 Screamo sounds like to me. And it was actually, so in the video for that last song for Smile in Your Sleep, I watched it today. Shane has like the hair where it's kind of like flopped in front of his face a little bit and it's black, but that part that's flopped is like blonde highlighted. And I'm just watching it and I'm like, that fits. Like, cut my wrist, black my eyes. Like this fits 2005 Screamo, and I really do like the chorus here. Overall, this is another really solid track, and again, for somebody who never listened to this band and probably didn't expect to like it all that much, right? Like when we did, who did The Downfall of Us All?
I can't remember.
Day to Remember. When we did Day to Remember, that like horrible, loud screaming, that's even less of my bag. And I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna basically try and just like what I like and ignore that part. But I thought I might have to do that with this, and I really, so far, have not had to do that.
To me, this song has some of the best transitions from melodic to screamy, and I thought that really, again, it really stood out here, and it just keeps getting better and better. The Ides of March to me is a really good song in a lot of ways. First of all, it starts off with that backwards sound, and this isn't the only song that does that, but I love that effect. I love that sound effect for some reason. It always kind of starts things off in a way that I get into, but dig that dreamy guitar. The dreamy guitar riffs that you have on this one. It's like a surrealistic type of sound. And I guess, if you think about it, like the other end of this is the Ides of March, can get pretty hardcore. This is, I don't know if you would call it one of the album's heaviest tracks or a heavy track, but definitely has a ton of driving guitar riffs, and I'm a huge fan of that part of the song. It's towards the end where you have that guy screaming. I don't know if it's him just kind of doing layered vocals, but you have the getting screamed behind the vocal track. I really like that a lot. That got me going. That was just there's that sound there is perfectly done, and it kind of just capped off what was a well put together song. So I'm into the heavier sound. I like the fact that there's a ton of great transitions here. It gives you basically everything. So
And they do that thing at the end where the drum, like, I don't know if the pace picks up or he starts hitting like half notes, but like the last chorus, the drums just like stand out and make it like kind of rock out to end it.
I also think it's like one of the best endings to a song, to your point. So to a song on this album, really into this one for a lot of different reasons. So far, we're doing pretty good here on this album. And we're headed into the next song called Fist Wrapped in Blood. And I don't know if it really matches the title of this song. When you think of Fist Wrapped in Blood, I'm thinking of a song that basically just kind of punches you in the stomach 5 times and in the face a couple times too. And I don't really think that's what this song does. I think this song is, it can get a bit more hardcore at times, but the melody, when it becomes melodic, is so just, I don't want to say bubblegum because that's not true, but it's so like well written melody, melodic sounding, stuck in your head like sound. I don't know if it's just like the chorus, especially heading into the chorus. It almost like just so counteracts that hardcore part that makes me want to feel like this isn't necessarily like an overly hardcore song. So, and that's not a bad thing either. Like, who cares, right? Who cares what you want to put titles on? I think that this is just such a good song in so many different ways. Again, the transitions are the reason for it, but the fact that it gives you such a great hardcore sound and such an awesome melody just leads me to say that this is another one. And this even has ooh-ahs, I think, in it, Steve, for you. This has really everything. And, not saying anything more about the title, but that's pretty it. And I actually really love the bridge into the outro, too. That was kind of the last thing that
Is that the My Fingers Are Yours to Cut Off?
Yeah, I forget the lyric, maybe, but I'm just more talking about the music. I thought it really kicked up and sounded amazing there, so... Big fan.
That part, there's this vocal cadence where he keeps like punctuating words that go higher. I can't hear it in my head right now. So the intro to this song sounds like an epic introduction to like an action sequence. It's very, very actiony and strong. I like the call and response, like scream and sing kind of thing. Overall, to me, the chorus is a little underwhelming. Other than there's an awesome harmony when you go feel the same. There's great harmonies in that chorus, but overall, a little less than some of the other ones. Again, the vocal cadence in the bridge is pretty cool. I think maybe towards the end, this scream part, I think it might have been better sung than screamed. Just that last, I can't trust anyone I meet. It's sometimes when I hear that stuff, it's hard to understand what he's saying, and it kind of takes away from, I don't know, the overall enjoyment. Not always, but I was like, I would have liked to maybe just have this one end a little softer. But overall, I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, too much for you? A little bit too much?
Just at parts. Not the total. Some of the parts were.
You would have drifted to the back of the room and just kind of hung out there until it was over, the song?
You take a pee break or go to the bar. Something like that.
No, I'm right there in the middle. I'm staying.
You're never in the middle. You're in the back anyway.
I used to be, man. You don't even know.
You don't know me. You don't know where I've been.
I was right there in the mix whenever I felt like it. I'll do it again. I just haven't done it recently. Speaking of that, we're gonna go right into the word of the day. Actually, it's the word of the month or the year, or the word of the show. We've used this word on many different occasions. Steve, do you know what word I'm talking about right now? Titular track. We do need it. Can we get a t-shirt that says titular?
We probably could, yeah. Come up with a design and we'll make it.
I think that's definitely a buzzword of this show. But yes, we're going to talk about the titular track, Discovering the Waterfront. Speaking of that, what do you think about the album artwork? Did you take a look at that?
It is really cool. I mean, it looks like a surrealist painting. It's not totally surrealist, but like a little bit surrealist. It's like a person on a rock and they're kind of on a waterfall and they're just putting their finger in there. But I mean, it looks like it's painted. Like it's very artsy, and I think it's a very cool album cover, to be honest with you.
You're really not supposed to sit that close to the waterfall, though.
It doesn't look like the water is that strong. It looks like it's a softer current.
Like just a babbling brook or something like that?
Yeah, maybe with a drop off.
Still pretty dangerous, because what if you slip and fall?
I mean, this person looks probably sad or contemplative. They're contemplating. Did I say that word right?
You know what else it looks like this person has? Is that front flip of the hair. Like
they might.
Already identified.
They might. But it's you can't really tell if it's a male or a female. Not that it matters. You know, they have kind of ambiguous clothing on, and they're covering their face. But yeah, anyways, it's very cool. I'd like to know who did that.
I would too. I would like to see you try and paint that, actually, because I hear you're a pretty good painter.
No, my wife could. I guarantee you, my wife has art in the genes. My daughter too. Not me. I'm terrible at art.
What I'd like to see is have her paint you sitting there in the water.
So do this, but me.
Yes.
All right. We have a lot of free time on our hands, so I'll see if I can commission her for that.
Fair. But what about the song itself? So let me look at my notes here, because I had a couple things to say about this one. So what are
our notes on today?
Well, here, I'm going to start this one off with a question versus a comment. So thoughts on these songs. So are you a fan of songs that start super slow but get big towards the chorus? Is that your thing? Do you like that?
Yeah, you could sign me up for that. Yeah. Most of the time, if it's good.
This song's pretty steady, isn't it? It definitely does not go in any kind of fast-paced transition direction at any point in time, if I'm remembering properly here. I can say this, that I believe those are some violins in there, and they sound like there's some violins layered in. It might just be a sound effect that sounds like it, or maybe a guitar that's fooling me.
Or maybe it's Sean Mackin from Yellow Card.
It could be. I mean, he's not the only guy that ever played a violin.
But it is. It's him.
It's him?
Yeah, it's Sean Mackin.
I had no idea.
He's got a credit on the album.
Oh, look at that. I don't read the credits. Good for you. See, I knew we met for some reason, and that's to tell me that this was the case.
I knew that we met 15 years ago for some reason. This is it.
So you could tell me that the guy who plays the violins on Discovering the Waterfront is Sean Mackin from Yellow Card. How about that? I am really super just mind blown. Today, years old, all that stuff. That's really cool. Anyway, so doesn't that emo violin sound just so isn't that just so nostalgic? Like, it's just so nostalgic to me. It gives me those nostalgic feelings. Don't you feel that way? You don't seem like it.
I don't know if I'm getting nostalgia, but I enjoyed the song for sure.
I don't know why. I just get very nostalgic when I hear that. When I hear that the emo violin. I don't think you hear as much emo violin, or you did not hear as much emo violin as time has gone on. Correct?
I mean, there's not a ton of it, period. Like at any time frame other than Yellow Card. I mean, it's probably just here or there in some compositions.
It's a very emotional song too. Very emotional song. I dug this one. Even though, like, again, it's not necessarily Silverstein in theory. It's a departure from that, but I think it had really cool music. Love that violin. And who here doesn't like a big chorus? Raise your hand. Tell me if you don't like a big chorus, because if you don't, I want you to come on the show and tell me why. Okay, I'm inviting you right now because I have no idea what you're going to say. Steve.
Yeah, I mean, the pace of the song is pretty much, like a ballad. And again, I'll make these comparisons because there's another band that I like a lot. Like it made me kind of think a little bit of Sidewalks, like by Story of the Year. And even though it's not the thing that they do in every song, I mean, they do this well. And shit, when Shane goes, "I won't kill again," it gets big, real big, right before the chorus, just belting that out. And then he does it again later, "I'm not coming back." The chorus itself, it really gave me the vibes. I know that a lot of people maybe don't know the Red Jumpsuit Apparatus, but I saw them recently, and they have this one song called Cat and Mouse, and this song really, for some reason, reminded me of that. It might have just been the overall, like, just the sound of the chorus. The chorus itself is not particularly catchy. It's not something that I'm going to walk around singing, but I think it's still very strong. And Sean Mackin on the strings obviously brings that whole extra layer to it. And the funny thing is, like, this is a long song. It's 4 minutes 45, but I gotta say that the song does not drag. It's strong throughout. It doesn't make me say to myself, holy shit, this is a long song. I mean, obviously, I'm saying it now just because we're talking about it in depth, but it didn't like bore me or anything like that. I thought that this was a really nice ballad, and this is, to me, it's there like Sidewalks, and I like that song too.
Well, how about this Defend You song?
Defend You. I don't know if I'm going to defend this one that much. The growl in the intro kind of turns me off a bit, and maybe you might have seen that one coming, but I think it's actually, it's pretty interesting that it's kind of like a skate punk screamo song, which you don't like, you hear the pop punk usually, but this sounds like a, I don't know, Less Than Jake and something screamy like Had a Baby. This one didn't really grab me. It just kind of wasn't my jam. The chorus wasn't fantastic, and I think the scream to sing ratio was kind of the opposite of my liking. So if there was one where I was like, maybe this one's not for me, this is it, or the first one. I don't know.
No, I mean, look, I definitely think it kicked it up to a faster pace. I do disagree with you on the balance. I think the balance is still here. You got your clean singing, you got your screaming, so it didn't seem like it shifted too much of that with this song. Outside of that, it's just super fast. I think that you still had some really good lyrics, and definitely still that emo, that post-hardcore sound that you've grown to love so far. If this is the only album you've listened to for Silverstein, I can say that it definitely is, a decently heavy. So I see where you could potentially get turned off, especially because, you kind of get punched in the mouth from the beginning with that beginning part. So right away, if your brain just doesn't gravitate towards that, I think that's an easy out for someone like you that just, it's like, I don't know. But I'm a fan. It's not my favorite. I'll be honest. Like, this is, maybe the melodies aren't quite at the level of some of the other ones. So maybe that's why, but definitely was enjoyable. It just was not my favorite song. So not going to bash it. But I think as we kind of go into the next one, and we're moving right along here, My Heroine, I always wonder about these songs. I feel like we've talked about another song called My Heroine somewhere, and I can't remember where.
There's definitely a Boys Like Girls song called Hero Heroine. But
we have not talked about Boys Like Girls on this end.
No,
this
we
show.
have not. We should do that.
Because I remember a joke I made, and as funny as it was, I'm not going to make it again, but is it my heroine or is it my heroine? That's always the question.
Right. I don't know I can't remember if it was a song title or if it was just a lyric, but whatever. I read about this song, and basically it's saying this is one of their most well-known songs. I buy that. I've heard this song on multiple occasions in many different outlets. So, and I get why, because it's just like the total package of what a post-hardcore like song should be, or I don't want to say should be, with a very, very well-written, very, very well-written, melodic, balanced, hardcore song could end up being. Like, if you think about it, and we've talked about Story of the Year and Finch, like, they have their showcase tracks, Until the Day I Die. Maybe for some, that's not the best track on the entire album, but definitely it just hits on a lot of chords that caused it to be the number one single, and for the most part, the song that people identifies that band with. I could see where this one kind of hits those chords in a lot of different ways, and it's an amazing tune. It just, one of the things that really is awesome for me is the awesome build that it has. It just builds well. It builds to a crescendo that I can't get enough of. The placement of screams and growls is perfect. Incredibly catchy melody. Like, the melody in this song is bar none, like just top of the line for me. So
I get lost in this one, especially when that bridge hits, towards the end of the song itself. Again, this gives all the feels, probably just just a total package. So My Heroine, I'm there for this song for sure.
Yeah, I could. What I get when I hear the song is, I bet this one is awesome live. And I was looking through some of their set lists, and this is obviously a staple. They're gonna play this at every show. It starts with just the guitar and the vocals, and then comes into the screams. And what I really like in the chorus is, again, I mentioned it before, he does these highs and lows, right? You taught my heart a sense of never in my head. And he goes up, down, up, down, up, down. And I think when you do that, and you do it well, it sounds really, really cool. Total pop punk bridge. I dug. I didn't really pull a whole lot of like lyrics out of this album because I wasn't as familiar with it. I loved Under Your Covers, more torture than pleasure, and just past your lips, there's more anger than laughter. I thought that was kind of deep. Not now or forever will I ever change you. I know that to go on, I'll break you, my habit. I thought those are pretty cool. So I could see why this is a single, and I liked it a lot. It was very, very easy to listen to. Like, I feel like this one could have hit the radio if Scream Stuff was okay on the radio.
You sure it didn't?
It might have. It might have. I mean, they had a video for it.
Yeah. I don't really remember what was on the radio a ton in 2005. Like, not obviously pop radio, but I don't remember. Obviously, I think they were playing a lot of Blink, right? But
Well, I was a radio DJ in 2005. So in terms of, but I was on a top 40 station. So
Yeah.
the rock stuff that we played, it was Fall Out Boy, Green Day, The Offspring, Blink. I remember Reliant K sneaking in there with a couple of songs.
Nickelback.
Yeah. I wouldn't put them in punk, but they would make their way in there. But nothing kind of like this, at least not that I know of.
No.
Maybe the hard rock station might have played it.
All right. I was more thinking of that. I was thinking more hard rock.
I feel like hard rock guys don't like pop punk and emo. They think we're like pussies or something. I remember we had a rock station and they didn't want to play any of that stuff.
Well, it depends on the era. Even then?
Yeah, even then. They were playing
Yeah.
like Stained and that kind of stuff.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, fine. Fair. So always and never. Let's roll it right along here. Steve, you got to have some feelings on this song.
This one started out with kind of like a dancey vibe at first, and then it kind of goes away when the screams come in. The chorus on this one is probably the most pop punk chorus I think on the album. It sounds really cool. It's really catchy, and this is one of the ones that can kind of get stuck in your brain. I think that I like the chorus a whole lot, but I feel like this is, again, one of, I don't know, maybe two so far that I liked a little less because of the screaming. I didn't like how it got mixed so much, but I don't think I would skip it. Did you like this one?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought this one, from a vocal standpoint, it definitely was one of the most intense, just maybe a touch more than some of the other ones we've talked about. And I think, again, from a vocal standpoint, I feel like his transitions between clean and screams were fairly seamless here. So that, on top of, just the faster guitar riffs, it was entertaining, right? I don't know if I could pull anything out of it that I could talk about forever, but it checks all the boxes for what I really wanted to listen to. So I was fine with this one.
All right. And Already Dead?
Yeah. So, it's going to go in the opposite direction. It's going to bring the intensity down a little bit, with a little bit more of like a slower opening, but you got to love that guitar line. I love that guitar line in this song. It's just, I can't sing it. But if you listen to the guitar line in this, it's really cool. It's a loop, or it's a hook, or whatever you want to call it. That's the high point for me here. Other than the fact that, again, I think the melody hits, especially in the chorus. I don't know. That's pretty much it. How about you?
Yeah, I think the thing that stuck out the most is the guitar work. The guitar work is really cool in this song. The chorus itself is pop punky, but I think not as catchy or enjoyable as some of the other ones. To me, though, The screams kind of in the middle of the verses like didn't fit. I'm outside your house. I'm closing it on. Like those just didn't fit that well. I feel like they could have sung them, and I would have liked it better. But again, I think the guitar work on this one is really what the highlight is.
For sure.
All right, 3 hours back. That's sometimes what I say to myself after our recordings. After they take 3 hours, I'm like, could we have gotten those 3 hours back somewhere?
Have we gone 3 hours?
No. I think 212 might have been the longest.
Even like some of those earlier episodes where we just kept talking and talking and talking.
Yeah. I think 212, 215 maybe is I think the max.
Okay.
Don't
Fine.
try and break that record.
I'm sure we'll find something where we can get close again, but maybe not today.
Well, listen, this one, this kind of has like a classic rock kind of vibe on the intro, I think. The chorus to me in this one is not very chorus-like. It's kind of hard to tell like what the chorus is. There's a whole bunch of like gang, hey, days, really good background harmonies. There's a very different like slow down section a little bit in just vocals, bass, and drums. There's just a lot going on in this one, and I feel like it works well together. And I guess I don't know if I'm surprised, but this is the least streamed song on the album. So this is one that people don't listen to that much, but I think they should. I kind of like this one. Different.
It was different, and I did not dislike it. I just didn't have a lot of things to say about it. You probably had a lot more. You definitely had a lot more to say about it than I did. I feel like, there's always going to be those tracks where you kind of just sit through them and don't have much of an opinion, and that's what this track is for me. So even though I kind of like the end of this one, I think I feel like I say that a lot, where I like the end of a song, but I really do like the end of this one. I think it builds to a pretty good climax, or just whatever we want to call it. It kind of builds to that, and that caught my ear. But other than that, the music is there, and it's a Silverstein track, so I can't be anything but a fan at this point in time.
All right. Well, the album officially ends with the next song called Karma. That last one, I don't know if you listened to it. That's a bonus track that was added, I think, later on.
I did.
I'll let you start to finish.
Very pop punk here.
Yeah.
I think that you're kind of on an emo roller coaster throughout the entire album, and this one I don't know if it brings you right back up the hill with something completely not different, but just a different overall style, because I don't know if there's another song on this album that does this, that gets so far in that one direction of that pop punk sound. So what's cool about this is that, the Call It Karma shows that this band is incredibly dynamic. If you haven't figured that out already, which you probably did, but for them to sit down and say, let's just do a pop punk song, and not so much post-hardcore, but pop punk, I think it goes to show that, they have they can be diverse in the way they write music. It's not just one thing or nothing. And, Shane told, you put any type of song of this particular genre and you probably could sing pretty much, I don't know, so I don't want to say pretty much anything, but the guy is just, he belts no matter what. So I don't care what he sings. If it's pop punk, if it's post-hardcore, if it's straight up just hard rock, I don't care. Even if it's pop music, I'm sure he could pull that off too. This guy can do it. He's got a voice, and this is just another one of those songs that displays that. So I honestly think, like, even though it's not the last song I listened to here, it's a great way to kind of round this album up. And to me, like, if you can have a banger as a last track,
ding, ding,
I know
ding.
I slipped. If you can have that as a last track, then I think that just says a lot for the album itself, and leads to the fact that this is definitely a must listen.
I agree. He does this thing on this track again where he goes like the one word up high. The chorus is super short, but it's enjoyable. To me, the song in its entirety kind of seems more like a long story, more than your typical verse chorus. It does follow that, but I think this is a really good way to end the album. I really like this last song. It was a little bit different, but again, you said dynamic, versatile, whatever you want to say. They've shown me a lot of looks here, and again, just going in blind, I didn't really know what to expect, and I was very surprised, pleasantly.
And so, did you listen to Rodeo Clown?
I think I listened to it once. When I realized it was a cover, I was kind of like, I don't really care to listen to this.
I don't know what I was listening to. Like, I listened to it, I'm like, this is weird. Like, this doesn't sound like what I want to listen to. What was it a cover of? Do you know?
The band is called Lifetime, and the song is called Rodeo Clown. I wonder if it's just one of those, like, I don't know Lifetime at all. I wonder if they are a kind of like one of them niche, like bands kind of things, and this was like some hardcore song that they wanted to cover. That's just pulling that out of my rear end.
So we're not talking Life House. We're talking Lifetime.
Lifetime, yes.
Like the,
not
like
the
the channel.
Like the channel, not the channel, yeah.
Not the channel, okay. Well, I don't have anything written down really. I couldn't come up with any kind of thoughts for that one. So if you were listening out there to hear our opinions about Rodeo Clown, I apologize. We'll have to talk outside of this particular episode.
If you really want that, we'll do it on Instagram Live or something.
Yeah, check the Discord. That's the best way to talk to us, right?
There you go.
Guys, we did it. We actually got through this one pretty quick, but I'll tell you what, it was fun. It was fun front to back. And as we move into ranking it, guys, you know ranking it, right? And if you don't, you should, because for those of you that don't, it's certainly a treat. This is where we rank our top 3 favorite songs for the album or anything else, whatever the subject matter is for that particular episode. This is where we rank our top 3 from that. From 3 to 1 in order. Those are the rules. You all know them. Steve, I will let you go first. What are your top 3 favorite songs in order from the album Discovering the Waterfront?
Yeah, I think this was a little bit of a difficult task for me because I think that there are 5 that I like equally and could potentially all be in the top 3. But I'll stick to the rules tonight. And I'm going to give the closing track, Call It Karma, number 3. I think number 2 is the opening track, Your Sword Versus My Dagger. And I think the one thing that I was definitive about in my head was Smile in Your Sleep is my favorite song on this album. So that's my number 1. But I felt pretty bad leaving off My Heroine and Discovering the Waterfront. So those could have made it, but they just didn't this time.
Mm-hmm. You know what? I said it was easy, but man. Maybe it's not. Maybe I have 5 or 6 here too. Jeez, oh man. Okay. All right, let's do it. So for me, number 3 is going to be Smile in Your Sleep. A 1-star song. But 1 star does not mean 1 star out of 5. 1 star means it's an accolade that it's really hard to beat, but we can beat it because number 2 in that line is definitely My Heroine. And then oh man, I'm gonna go with Call It Karma as my number 1.
All right.
I don't know why. I'm Mr. Hardcore, but I'm
you
going
like
with
the softer stuff, I guess.
I don't know. I just like it. I like this album so much though. Like you're right. It was silly of me to say this was easy because it was really challenging for me to be able to rank these songs from front to back. I really think this album is amazing. It's definitely one that I would suggest to those people that are interested in the post-hardcore sound. If you're dabbling in bands like what I mentioned before, The Used, Census Fail, MCR. MCR doesn't necessarily sound like this, but if you're dabbling in that stuff, I would 1,000% make sure that you picked up this particular album and listened to it, because this really just kind of expands the genre. It gives you another band that just does it right. And to me, it just solidifies, the love that, somebody could have for this particular type of music, especially for those people that lived during this time period, like us.
Yes. I think most people listening lived during this time period. I would just say if you're nervous or you weren't sure about listening to Silverstein, give them a shot. They get my stamp of approval. I was just like you before like 2 weeks ago, and I gave this a shot. And again, I was pleasantly surprised. I liked it a lot.
Well, Steve, once again, it was a blast. Hopefully, once again, we get a chance to talk about the band Silverstein. If you're a fan of Silverstein or you're a fan of High School Never Ends, let us know what you thought about this particular episode, but not just the episode. What about the series? What about Victorious? Did you enjoy this grouping of bands that we talked about, the label Victory Records? Did it all kind of just make sense to you? We want to know. We want to hear from you. So reach out to us, whether it be on any of the socials, Instagram, Facebook, or one of our favorite, and that's the Discord, where we can talk to you directly. I'll tell you what, there's some really cool conversations going on, and the population is definitely, the community, I should say, is definitely growing on the Discord. We're getting more and more people joining every day, joining in on the conversation about why I'm either right or wrong, and all of the exploits of everybody on the Discord in terms of shows that they've seen that they want to see, and et cetera, et cetera. So it's a blast. Come join us. Talk to us on any of those ways. The best way to find us in our socials is through our hub. Just visit www.hsnepod.com. That's hsnepod.com. That is our hub that will link you to all of those great things that I just talked about,
including our shop, so you can support the show, support the Dragon Wagon Radio Network, get a t-shirt, get a hoodie. It's going to get cold out depending upon where you live. Get a mug for your cider, anything like that. Help the show. Or if you don't want to spend any money, just give us a 5-star rating on Spotify or Apple, and you can write a written review and tell us what you liked about Victorious, the first time that we did this. And there are definitely more Victory Records albums we could talk about, so maybe we will bring it up in the future. But next week, we are going to have something new. It's not going to be Victorious. It'll be something else. Not telling you what it is. You'll have to tune in. Until then, keep on rocking your dad bods, throw up your rock hands, and blast the pop punk.
Internet! I'm Coy Jandro, a Bostonian who loves pop culture, comic books, and people. And I host Coycast. It's a podcast about all those things. If it fits in on a con floor, we talk about it on Coycast. Myself and producer Jake do previews, reviews, deep dives, and tinfoil hat theories about everything from movies, TV, and the comic books themselves. I also like to dish out comic recommendations from my 100-plus pull list a week so you know what's best to buy. So join us, True Believer, on Coycast.com or wherever you're listening to this podcast right now.
Dragon Wagon.